Good afternoon. My name is Basil Georges. By using my past experience and current training methods, I strongly believe that my skills will improve the apprentice training session and improve their overall performance.
What type of coaching style do you use?
The coaching style that I'm using is authoritarian, which is basically me telling my player what to do without him having any input. The reason that I am doing this specific type of coaching style is because in order to help my player, I need to be able to tell him what to do and how without him who applying to me, she does not have much experience with boxing.
Do you have any personal experience?
During my childhood, I developed a strong love for physical activity. I've used many trainers which all directed me in their own manner. Over time, I ruled out the best way to coach.
Thank you very much for your application, Basil. We'll definitely be considering your coaching.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, hey! We're doing boxing, and we're going to be talking about how Newton's three laws of motion are implemented in it, and how understanding it can help the players' ability to fight.
The skills and drills that I'll be showing you guys today will improve the athlete in many different ways, in power and in acceleration.
There are three Newton's laws of motion, and their names are the law of inertia, the law of force and acceleration, and the action-reaction law. The first law states that if any object is at rest, it will continue to stay at rest, and if an object is in motion, it will continue to stay in motion in the same speed and direction unless the object is acted upon by an unbalanced force. An example of this would be if you were playing ice hockey and you slide the hockey puck on the ice, it will eventually stop because of the friction between the ice and the hockey puck. The second law states that acceleration of an object that is applied by a net force is directionally proportional to the magnitude of the net force in the same direction as the net force, and inversely proportional to the mass of the object. An example of this is if you were to push a car and push a truck on the same road, the car will have more acceleration as the car has less mass. The formula for Newton's second law is force equals mass times acceleration. The third law of motion states that for every action there is either an equal or opposite reaction. What this means is that in every interaction there is a pair of forces that act on two interacting objects. An example for this would be if you jumped off a small boat into the water, you will propel yourself forwards, and the force that you make to jump forwards makes the boat propel back.
Newton's three laws of motion can be implemented when a fighter is punching another fighter. The fighter is at rest and is not moving until the other fighter punches him as an unbalanced force causing him to move. The second law, force equals mass times acceleration, can be implemented as more acceleration and mass, which would equal more force. If a fighter is able to punch or kick faster, and if they have more mass, they can cause more damage towards the other fighter as they can cause more force. The third law, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, can be implemented as a player who punches his opponent incorrectly can cause an equal amount of damage to himself. If a player punches straight and correctly, he will be able to damage the opponent without causing any major harm to himself.
There are many training drills and power training that will benefit the trainee during a mixed martial arts fight. The most well-known power training drill is holding light weights and punching the boxing bag or shadow punching. This will also link to Newton's second law, which is force equals mass times acceleration, which basically means the more acceleration something has, the more force it has. So if the fighter is able to punch faster, he'll have more force and acceleration, which will improve his punch, which will overall improve the way he fights. The way it will happen is if a fighter punches with weights, he'll be able to punch faster when they are off and in a fight.
After extensive training, the trainee will gain power and Newton's second law will be applied. During training, the player's mass will either increase or decrease, and the acceleration will increase, which will result in an increased force. The training sessions will increase the trainee's strength, therefore increasing his MMA ability. Thorough training will make the trainee improve and contest many other people in his league, and will eventually rise to the top, which is MMA potential.
The first pack completed was when a small person was made and attached to a trolley, and then dropped down a ramp from different heights. This was to show how an object will continue in motion until acted upon by an unbalanced force. The second prac was when weights were attached to a trolley and the weights were let go from a certain height, and the trolley was then pulled by the weights and was timed to see how long it could travel 50 centimeters. This was to show Newton's second law, force equals mass times acceleration, as more mass and force in an object would increase the acceleration of the same object. The third prac that was completed was when a string was hung across the room and a balloon attached to the string, with a certain amount of breath in it. The balloon was then let go of and flew across the string. The distance the balloon travelled was then recorded. This shows Newton's third law, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, because when the air is being released from the balloon, the force propels the balloon forward because the air rushing out creates a thrust in the opposite direction, causing the balloon's loss of air to move backwards, causing an equal but opposite reaction.